We have rumors of a Pistons trade that could possibly speed up the rebuild. Is it a good idea or is it a bad idea? We'll talk about it on today's edition of Ball Don't Lie Nation.
All don't lie. All don't lie. All don't lie. All don't lie. All don't lie.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Ball Don't Lie Nation. I am your humble host, Mr. Tony J, and thank you very much for joining me today. We are going to talk about something in relation to my Detroit Pistons. Now, there's not a lot of basketball news going on in the world because of the thing that I won't call out by name, but you know what it is. It's kind of got us all in lockdown, and it's got the basketball world in lockdown as well. It's been a really terrible year for basketball. I mean, from what happened with Kobe and Gigi breaking all of our hearts, to losing March Madness, to losing the NBA season as far as we can tell, and possibly even, and probably, or possibly the NBA playoffs. So, there's not a lot of news to report. But there's speculation because we're coming upon the time in which you start thinking, okay, if they're going to have the NBA draft early or when it's normally scheduled to happen, is it going to happen in June? Are they moving it ahead? What's going to happen with that? And for us, who are Detroit Pistons fans, we're already thinking about the offseason because our team wasn't very good anyway, especially after the injuries that we had to Blake Griffin and to Derrick Rose and losing Andre Drummond via trade and getting rid of Reggie Jackson and Markieff Morris. We were kind of going towards the rebuild already. So this rumors come out via the Bleacher Report within the last 24 hours, and they've suggested that Buddy Hield, the shooting guard, who's 27 years old, who is, I believe, the 6th pick in the 2016 draft, could be heading his way to Detroit, possibly via trade. Now, when I first heard this, thought about it, and I was like, does this even make sense? We got Luke Kennard, who's younger than Hield, and who's another sharpshooter who's moving his way up. And we're hopeful that last year was an abbreviation, and he's going to overcome those injuries, concerns that we have, and he's going to develop into a star that many of us think he can be. But then it hit me. I was thinking about it. Buddy Hield, when he was coming out, people were comparing him to Ray Allen. And Steph Curry's another player that he got comparisons to. He's now hitting the age of 27 years old. So you're talking about a player who's hitting an age in which he's going to start reaching the peak of his career. He's in that window, which is usually about 27, 28 years old to like 32 years old. That 4-year window, usually when a player hits their peak, hits their stride, if you will. So, if the Pistons were looking to do a fast rebuild, I would say that taking in Buddy Hield would not be a bad idea. Especially when you still have Derrick Rose on the books, and you still have Blake Griffin, probably who's going to be on the books for the next couple of years. Maybe bringing in a couple of other veteran stars who are still young enough to last a little while would not be a bad idea. But if we're going to go after Buddy Hield, what sort of trade were they suggesting? They were suggesting a very protected, conditional first-round pick. That does not seem like a bad idea. We definitely have the room to sign Buddy Hield, and with Andre Drummond's contract no longer being on the books, and with Josh Smith's contract coming off the books, makes a lot of sense. That's the case. Question is, we also have Luke Kennard. We also have Svi. We also have Kyrie Thomas. All those players play the shooting guard position. So, are we ready to move on from Luke Kennard and decide, okay, we'll trade you for some other asset, and we're going to bring in Buddy Hield as a shooting guard of the present and the future? I don't know. That's a question I want to ask you. Leave your comments below, and remember, give me a subscribe, click like, And I will see you next time in the Ball Don't Lie Nation.